I feel very peaceful. I've been sitting here, looking out at the bay, looking out at the rain, the birds, the herons flying, the trees. It just gives us a profound sense of peace. I have quite a deep image of myself as a wanderer. It feels like it's quite deeply in my heart or in my soul, or there's some kind of feeling and identity of being a wanderer. I identify like a lot with my needs, like with this, or it's almost like a role. Like I have such a big need to move. I feel like I'm somehow thrive on the outskirts of society, of the outskirts of groups, moving from place to place. And there's some kind of deep calling that pulls me towards wandering. And solitude, yeah. And that carries also quite a deep longing or a fear, both probably. So easy in that to fall into the loneliness, to feel like, oh, I'm isolated from the rest of the world, I'm outside, I'm not part, I'm just doing my own thing on my own with myself, and that feels profoundly lonely. There's a character in these famous Finnish, Swedish children books, the Moomin books. There's a character who, like in summer, he lives with the Moomins in the Valley of the Moomins. The books are about the Moomins, and he lives there. He's a very good friend of the main character. And there he sits fishing or plays his flute and wanders around the woods. And then in the winter, when the snow starts to fall, he leaves, he travels south and out on adventures. And there's a cup in the house here with that character on it. And it feels like it's been such a companion for me this week. It feels like that's the image of the wanderer that I want. Right? The one that's outdoor on adventures, but he has his place to come back to. He has his somehow family of friends, and like he belongs there, and he's expected. That feels like the positive image of the wanderer that I want. I feel quite touched, like impacted when I talk about this, like just choosing myself. It feels like such a big thing that has gone through my whole life somehow. Not choosing myself, like somehow suspending like my own desires in order to fit in, or in order to do what I felt was expected of me. Feels like I'm on perpetual, still a little bit in my life, and this perpetual postponing the things that are most important to me in order to somehow accommodate others, or what I think others need, or even just the being a part. I think that's significant, like being part of the group. I can't do what I want because I need to be part. I don't want to be alone, outside. One of the things that are really important to me in life is nature. Especially the last bunch of years, that has meant more and more to me. went through a long period of disease. I had cancer for many years. In my 20s, most of my 20s. Which obviously have had a huge impact on my life and my internal workings. I feel, it's like such a deep journey. It's a long journey, and I'm still trying to figure out what I'm bringing back from that I could give to the world. I mean, I believe it's already transmitting quite a lot. And I want to be more clear on giving it consciously. One of the gifts that I got anyway was that I had to turn to nature. It felt like the only place to find anything to cling on to. That and circling or relatefulness. And now it feels like I carry that so deep in me, like especially the nature part, like in a way that I don't see as not common at all in our society. In my system, it feels like of such ultimate importance to me for sure, but to the world, to human existence, like to reconnect, rekindle that deep relation to nature. It's a paradox a little bit, because it's not like we could ever tear that relation. It's not like it's never not there. It's not like we're ever not nature 100%. But there is something that feels very important about consciously, like putting our awareness back to that fact, to how we are all nature, how we're all connected to this beautiful, great world, to the non-human world, as well as to the human. And it seems like I'm on some kind of life mission, or like some very important mission of bringing that like feeling, this profound feeling of connectedness, or the importance, into connection with others, or like bringing that to the world more. I find relatefulness, these practices, so beautiful in the way they bring, like they really bring the human connection, like into the essence. It seems like such a way of digging down into like the essence of human connection, and there at the bottom, like usually what I find is love. At least if you dig through all the other layers. Pleasant and unpleasant. But what I feel like is often missing in the relateful practices, in the relational practices, is like, obviously it's the what I still long for, is the whole connection to the rest of the world, like to the non-human world. Obviously, the relational arts, we're talking about the human relations, but then where does that leave me with? Where does that leave us with all the relation to the non-human? And somehow I have such a longing of somehow getting them to meet more, also in this practice, also in life. It's possibly a lot of words to say. once opening up to like, the things that are really important to me, it feels like I could just speak for hours about nature, connection, and about poetry, about soul, and the quest for that which is deep inside, about ritual and honoring the sacredness of life, about the clowning and the beauty of laughter, about oneness and transcendence, about other people, the extreme beauty of really seeing someone clearly. I think that's one of the biggest gifts, at least it often feels like that in relateful and relational practices. This chance of really like seeing the artwork that another person is, like just seeing it unfolding before your eyes. If you really give yourself, and if you really pay attention, just all that beauty, you just like can open up, almost like just from the fact that you're really paying attention, that you're really there. It feels like clowning has become such a deep part of who I am. Probably always it was, but then after actually doing clown school, it just feels like probably it's just been so much more allowed. And it feels like such a relief. Funniness is often viewed, I meet that a lot at least, that it's viewed a little bit as like superficial, or like jokes are like used to deflect the truth or something like that. And while that feels like it's true sometimes, like it's just like there's so much more to it. I think funniness and laughter is such a profound part of the human experience. And I find it such a magical tool to get deeper. It can surely be used to deflect. It can definitely be used to get so much deeper into the human experience, both by diffusing tension in a room, or like, okay, allowing for getting, like, for the next step. But definitely also, like, as we've been using it in clown workshops, as a tool. It's a little bit like it's a compass needle, or it's like one of those sticks, you like this idea that you can find water with these willow wands in the desert. You can go around, and then when we laugh, is often like, if we laugh truly, I mean, there's the social laughter, which is a different thing, but the true laughter, it can't be faked. It is a moment of authenticity. And it'll come from meeting something true, I would venture to claim. That the deep laughter comes always from some place of meeting something that is true, in the sense if it's unexpected, or just really weird, or often, as it is in clowning, we laugh because we recognize ourselves in the folly of somebody else. We laugh as a way, as a release of fear, actually, of like, we see ourselves in this person being ridiculous and stupid in front of everybody and being laughed at. We see ourselves there and we laugh. Some kind of almost, it's almost like nervous laughter. It's like that kind of sense of it, and the way that releases the fear of being in that situation. In that sense, clowning and laughter, like in those contexts anyway, is a bridge. It's like a bridge between people in the most, like in some of the most vulnerable places. In some of the places where there's most shame, where we are most afraid of being seen. In our failures, in our naivety, in our stupidity. Sometimes in our innocence and in our good-heartedness. Like, those places, they're really vulnerable, and it's really vulnerable to be there, and in the clowning, that's where we need to be. One thing is the audience, like if we have a clown show, but when we work with clowning in this like relational context, like everybody is put on stage, like everybody, we do the clowning work, not to be good clowns, but to get to that place of, like to get to these places of vulnerable places of stupidity and shame and all this, like authenticity, naivety. And the thing is, the magical thing about the clowning is that you cannot fake it. Like, and that's where the laughter becomes a contest. If you fake it, it won't be funny. People won't laugh. It's only when you strike the truth, when you're actually there, with your showing up with these vulnerable places in you, actually showing up with your naivety, stupidity, and like stepping into it and just owning it. That's when the laughter happens. Yeah. And that's such a moment of sweet, sweet connection. That moment of like, oh, here we are, honestly, truthfully with each other in such a vulnerable place, and we're able to laugh about it. We're together in the like, this is actually not dangerous. It's actually joyful. Like, it creates joy and warmth in the world.